So let's take a nice, beautiful, big, deep breath in. And remember, of course, that as we're actually inhaling, we're breathing in an extraordinary energy that is actually quite magical. And in your very awareness, in your conscious remembering that it is in fact a magical energy that you're breathing in, you're actually activating it. You're igniting it. And so what I want you to do is actually just go through a process right now where you're breathing in very gently, very graciously, and you're actually holding that divine life force inside this beautiful temple, this vessel that is your physical body in this human life. And as you're exhaling, I want you to actually be very mindful of the fact that you're expiring. When somebody takes their very last breath, they've expired. And so I want you to actually attach the exhalation to an expiration. The expiring and then the evaporating, the letting go of and the surrendering any limitations or obstacles, challenges that you no longer need in your life. And as you actually exhale, if you want to imagine yourself letting go of a particular person, or you want to imagine yourself actually forgiving a situation, you can actually think of that, just imagine it in your mind's eye. There's this like creative visualization process, and you can actually embrace it and thank it for its value, because every single thing that has ever happened in any of our past lives, dimensions, or frequencies has been here to serve us for a particular reason of teaching us a lesson and allowing us to grow and develop. But we can actually be done with that, and we can let it go, release it, and it can evaporate and transmute. So take a moment now and breathe in divine life force. And know that that is actually a process of inspiration. Hold it, and then you can go through an expiration. Inhalation, exhalation. And hold the divine life force in your body. Hold your breath at the top. So take a nice big deep breath in. And breathe in the creative forces of this magical energy. Breathe in the cleansing, clarifying, purifying aspects of this divine energy. And this divine energy is truly magical. Now I want you to actually see that your body has auras, or an aura with various layers, a little bit like the onion with various layers. And there is an aura that's actually really your skin, and it is glowing. You are glowing. As you draw in this divine life force energy, you're actually drawing in an illuminating energy that causes you to glow. It really does. It causes you to glow. It allows you to glow. Give yourself permission. Welcome this warmly and openly, and allow yourself to glow. And of course you have another layer that's about 2 feet above you, in front of you, beside you, behind you, and below you. And you're actually inside this giant, gorgeous cocoon. And it's very nurturing and nourishing. It's incredibly safe and protective. And inside, I want you to imagine there is this fabulous gas. And this gas is almost trapped inside this beautiful balloon. And I want you to actually visualize a very special secret spray that colors the gas. And so you can now see that it's almost like glitter. It's sparkling. And in this moment, you actually recognize that you are a master craftsman. You're a jeweler. And you're absolutely spectacularly talented at actually creating the facets of a brilliant diamond that truly are captivating and alluring, very awe-inspiring. And you are the creative, the master craftsman who actually does cut the diamond that is indeed you. You are this diamond. And like all diamonds, we actually have to position it in the light for it to truly shine brilliantly. And what I want you to do is now allow yourself to be open to the impulses of the universe and to your guides and spirit, to your ascended masters and archangels, and to their assistance so that you are positioned to sparkle truly spectacularly, capturing real, sincere, genuine attention. There is also an incredible admiration of you as this magnificent, perfectly faceted, brilliant diamond. And indeed, the actual light that is shining on you is a divine light. It's a truly divine light. And you can feel incredibly loved and cared for in this light. And this light is actually causing the gases in your aura to sparkle like glitter. And in fact, in various instances, you can look and it's almost as if it's a New Year's Eve, New York fire, beautiful, incredible fireworks display. And there is this oohing and ahhing of these truly stunning colours. It's almost as if someone has lit a sparkler, and inside your aura there are an infinite number of sparklers. And actually, as you're breathing in the energy of that sparkliness. You're fizzing your effervescence. You're absolutely incredibly, deliciously saturated in a gorgeous effervescence, and you feel exuberant. In this state, you make decisions easily. You make decisions that are aligned with a simplicity for your life that is truly wonderful. You feel safe and comfortable. And you also allow others to feel very safe and comfortable in your presence. And we breathe in this beautiful, compassionate and understanding, secret, special energy. And it is indeed magical. And we're now at this incredible vibrational frequency that allows us to completely and utterly let go of anything that no longer serves us. We let go of any negative energies, any negative patterns or habits, any negative thoughts. We can actually see them on our breath as we exhale, and they actually get released out there into the atmosphere, and they just evaporate and are transmuted. Imagine now one person who was here to help you learn a lesson, and you no longer need to actually repeat that lesson. You've learned it. You've extracted the wisdom and the insights. Let it go. See them evaporate. And as they are evaporating, say, thank you so much. I appreciate the role that you played. I love you very much. I forgive you. I am ready now. I am ready now. Let it go. Allow them to transmute. And you can do that with any other resource, circumstance, situation, experience, or reality. You can allow it to simply evaporate and transmute. And you do that by your own conscious process of imagining it, seeing it, and feeling it. Now feel the relaxation, the relief, and feel lighter. Let it go. And now I want you to actually see your aura again and see the layer that is in fact a mile out in front of you, above you, behind you, below you. You can see yourself now rising up as if you are floating in this beautiful giant bubble. And I want you to see that your aura actually engulfs, it encompasses everything else in this entire sphere. And you can actually, as if you are sprinkling magical fairy dust, stardust all over anything that is in this aura, you actually help to transform and transmute anybody who is within your aura that extends in 1 mile's diameter all around you. And I want you to actually see this magical energy, certainly inside this entire sphere, this cocoon that you're in. And now that you're here, I want you to know that you have another layer that extends 11 miles in diameter in front of you and behind you, to each side of you, and of course at every degree around you. So you can actually be inside this giant cocoon, this bubble, and you can feel free, truly harmonious, tranquil and serene. You can actually allow yourself to feel a genuine, real peace of mind. You can feel absolutely delighted. You can feel absolutely cheerful and playful. And you can feel powerful and strong and courageous. And you can feel like you're your very best self. It's easy to connect in profound and powerful ways with all of the right people who are in your aura for all of the right reasons. Now I want you to see that your aura actually extends out, so allow it to, as you breathe in, take a nice big deep breath in and know that what you're actually doing is you're infinitely expanding your awareness and your consciousness, your impact, and your ability to actually play with the magical energy that is now growing and expanding, so that your aura literally engulfs the entire of Mother Earth. And see yourself in this bubble that's now ever expanding. It's ever increasing infinitely, and it's now actually engulfing the entire of this galaxy. And as you actually float out here with the entire galaxy within you, you'll realize that all is one and one is all. And you'll come to this wonderful knowing that all of the life force energy in this universe is actually inside you. You are the master craftsman. You are the creator. You are the magical manifester. And interestingly enough, as you actually visualize and imagine this incredible divine energy filling you up, in that seeing and feeling and knowing, you've activated and ignited the magic in the gases. And that magic literally makes you an incredibly attractive magnet of the most immense power. And you can actually now draw to you effortlessly, joyfully, very gracefully, and certainly with this absolutely incredible charisma, in an alluring way, draw to you whatever it is that you want and need. You are the master of your own divine timing. You can now, in this state, you can actually orchestrate the timing. You can actually come here and you can imagine floating to you on a flying carpet any resource that you desire, want, or need, that you are aware of, or maybe not even aware of yet. But in your launching of your desires, in you thinking about precisely, accurately, and correctly what it is that you really want, you actually send out a message and it is replied to with these incredible resources that are actually floating to you on these magical flying carpets. So take some nice big deep breaths in, and as you do, I want you to actually see around you all of these stars in this galaxy that are actually inside of you now. And I want you to recognize that all of the space, all of the vastness between all of the stars and the galaxies is actually the amount of space, the vastness that is actually between your cells. I want you to see this incredible revitalizing and refreshing of every cell in your body so that you're actually being healed miraculously. There is a magnificence to you in this state, and all of your wants and your needs, all of your desires, all of your long-held dreams, they come to fruition floating to you effortlessly on these gorgeous flying carpets. Breathe in and make sure that you can see the perfect person with the right material arriving, and this person with the right material is here for you so that you can work with them. I want you to actually know, Thomas, that all of your archangels, your ascended masters, these spirits, these guides, these guardians, all of their energy, all of their magical powers, all of their secrets are actually being embodied by you because your aura now engulfs and encompasses it all. And they're here to assist you, support you, facilitate, guide. They're here to hear. They're here to help you raise your vibration and frequency. They're here to make sure that your potential is unleashed and the possibilities become manifest. They're here to actually feel what it is that your heart and soul do really and truly want. They're listening and they're watching and they're helping to actually create whatever is necessary, all of the circumstances and situations and experiences that are necessary to bring about every single ingredient in the entire process of easily accomplishing every goal. So I want you to now know that you're going to ask of this energy, what would it take? What would it take for me to receive everything and everyone warmly, openly welcoming and receiving, acknowledging and appreciating all of the resources, the circumstances, the situations, and the people, all of the experiences necessary so that I can do whatever it takes. So what would it take for us to be able to see what we need to see and understand what the insights are and then act on them in a proactive way? What would it take for us to actually really initiate whatever is necessary and trust ourselves in the process? What would it take for us to really hear what we need to hear and to understand what it is that we're hearing and to act on it? What would it take for us to simply surrender, let go, and allow wherever it is necessary and desirable? What would it take for us to absorb all of the rich nutrients that this life's experience has to offer us? What would it take for us to truly feel very glorious as if we are blessed, truly blessed, and we're worthy and deserving of the luck and the fortune in our lives. What would it take for us to truly now give ourselves permission to accept profitability in our lives so that every exchange is profitable? It's a win-win-win-win. What would it take for us to actually expend energy but feel more energized? What would it take for us to actually pay attention but to receive much more attention in reciprocity? What would it take for us to actually smile and receive many more smiles and laughter in response? What would it take for us to actually venture forth and take a couple of steps forward and actually find ourselves in these remarkable places where we've been assisted in stepping forward many more paces, effortlessly, miraculously, perfectly? What would it take if everything happened for our benefit and to our advantage, and for us to be truly appreciative of that? What would it take for us to actually allow ourselves to experience true love, a real, genuine, sincere love? What would it take for us to feel truly lovable and loved? What would it take for us to actually feel like we are incredibly free in our bodies, moving in a gorgeous way? What would it take for us to have flexibility and agility? What would it take for all of our entities, essences, and energies to know that we are ready and we are now commanding this divine timing so that we can actually achieve way beyond our wildest imagination? What would it take for us to actually receive the acknowledgement that we so desperately and we so generously want and need? What would it take for us to actually be at the center of a ceremony that actually recognizes our contributions and our services? What would it take for us to actually now see that the award that we want, or the award that you want, in terms of, say, a Screen Actors Guild Award, I want you to see it now floating to you, flying freely on this magical carpet, and you have this outstanding attraction power as a very, very, very important magnet. You've activated this magical energy inside of yourself, and it is absolutely real and palpable. Draw to you in your imagination, creatively, the award. And we ask, what would it take? What would it take for us to be able to receive the opportunities and the invitations that absolutely ensures that is real for us in this human body in this lifetime? What would it take for us to actually see all of the little steps that are necessary and enjoy the journey so that that becomes a fait accompli, an absolute inevitability? What would it take for us to actually improve and deepen our relationships with all of those people who could mentor us and could give us advice and suggestions about how we could actually receive awards such as a Tony or an Oscar? What would it take for us to be still when we need to be and in massive action when we need to be? What would it take for us to also be incredibly delighted and inquisitive and curious like a child, playful, noticing just how beautiful the environment is that we find ourselves in? What would it take for us to actually figuratively metaphorically smell the roses on the way? What would it take for us to actually have truly profound insights that change the world? What would it take for us to be open to innovation and disruption so that we can actually create something that has never been before? What would it take for us to actually know and have trust and faith that we are doing all that is necessary to get the jobs that we want to get? What would it take for us to actually have something written for us that inspires somebody else to actually write something just for us? What would it take for people to find us friendly and incredibly artistic? What would it take for us to do truly significant work that is recognized and appreciated, acknowledged, and what would it take for us to enjoy the accolades? What would it take for us to now see floating to us on these magical flying carpets that are actually being drawn to us in a very organic way? What would it take for us to see these incredible, prolific writers as a part of our inner circle? What would it take for us to have the attitude that naturally draws to us kindness and energy? And what would it take for us to be truly humble? What would it take for us to actually leap in the right direction, knowing that in fact we have been heard and all of the magic is actually realigning, reorganizing, and orchestrating, facilitating everything that is required in the background, in the unseen, for us to actually head in the right direction for the right reasons with the right people at the right time? And what would it take for us to truly know that we are the right entity, we are the right being on this path at this time with these people going in this direction? What would it take for us to seek out the moments of pure bliss and find the places where we can experience serenity, even if as we place our hand over our heart, we actually anchor in a harmony. We can actually create a divine state and place right here and right now, no matter what is going on around us. So see yourself opening to welcome in a really warm and wonderful way anything that you want or need arriving to you on your magical carpets. You might actually see that there is a magical carpet in the foreground, but there might be millions of magical flying carpets following behind, and all of the people who become a part of your audience, they're all on those carpets and they're all actually flying to you. And you command the speed at which they fly. They could be meandering, or they could be like focused rocket ships. See something on one of those carpets. See it floating to you, and ask all of the entities, energies, and essences to guide you to do whatever is necessary to make sure that that carpet can arrive. What would it take for us to nourish the ideas that we need to, nurture them? What would it take for us to nurture and nourish the people that we need to? What would it take for us to go to the places where we must go? What would it take for us to feel truly satisfied and fulfilled and richly rewarded for all of our efforts? What would it take for all of the unintended consequences and implications and impacts of all of our actions to actually be incredibly profitable for everybody involved? Profitable not only in the sense of prosperity and abundance financially, but profitable in the sense of our relationships, our health, the environment, the industries that we're involved in. What would it take for us to be a force for good? What would it take for us to truly be the kinds of people who leave legacies that we actually get a glimpse of as we're alive in this lifetime? What would it take for us to actually truly know the impacts that we are creating and to feel very grateful for the opportunity to be doing so? What would it take for us to see what we want to see in all of the corners of the planet? What would it take for us to actually choose nutrient-rich organic food? What would it take for us to actually engage in all of the activities that actually help to bring about physical vibrance so that we have this incredible vibrancy to us? What would it take for us to feel vital and truly alive and incredibly appreciative that we get to actually experience this day? What would it take for us to ask that we get to experience another day, another week, another month, another year, and another decade? And what would it take for us to truly enjoy everything that is actually coming? What would it take for us to choose to learn our lessons the easy way? What would it take for us to feel joyful as we learn those lessons? What would it take for us to actually create stories that have a ripple effect, that allow others to be entertained and empowered? What would it take for us to know that we are more than enough? What would it take for us to actually engage in the tiniest positive action that leads to another action so that the compound effect creates exponential results that are absolutely magnificent? What would it take for us to actually engage in those actions sooner than we need to, more quickly than we actually need to? What would it take for all of the resources that we do want to need to arrive before we actually need them? What would it take for us to actually see everything lining up ahead of time? What would it actually take for us to allow ourselves to succeed in wild ways globally? What would it take for us to give ourselves permission right now for us to have a universal impact now? What would it take for there to be absolute surprises that are absolutely fantastic? What would it take for us to feel fabulous in the uncertainty and the ambiguity? What would it take for us to feel very calm and courageous in moments of uncertainty? What would it take for us to even feel excited about what is being unveiled, knowing that whatever it is, it's in the best interest of our higher selves? What would it take for us to be patient where we need to be? And at the same time, continue to actually connect with this divine energy and remind ourselves that we are the master craftsmen. We command divine timing. We're loving learning how to, and we're improving in the ways that we do. What would it take for us to actually increase our circles of influence and our circles of impact? And what would it take for us to actually have surrounding us friends who will weather any kind of environment with us? What would it take for all of us to be truly happy and healthy? And what would it take for us to find the time to nurture our soul and connect and plug our spirit in, reminding ourselves of this magical energy? What would it take for us to actually be the kind of people who truly master how to be of this magical energy for most of the time? What would it take for us to trust our abilities to do so? And anything or anyone in the way of this, please delete it, uncreate it, and destroy it across all time, space, dimension, realities, and frequencies. And anything or anyone that can facilitate it with ease and grace and speed and joy, please add it, create it, and store it across all time, space, dimension, realities, and frequencies. And whenever or wherever we need, please allow us to command PB Stardust, command PB Stardust, command PB Stardust. And wherever it is appropriate or required, please allow us to be in the energy of Shaluka, Shaluka, Shaluka. Amen, and so it is.